Hey, hi. I'm Mona. This is Chit Chat. So, yeah. I saw online somebody kind of like me, a person like me who's just trying to figure some stuff out, some girl who she said people they think she's witchy, and you know what, I don't know if people think that of me, to be quite honest. I don't, but I have never considered myself like witchy, like no. And I said on her thing, I said maybe like a naturalist because I like natural stuff. I like herbs and all these things for healing, natural ways to heal instead of like pharmaceuticals. And some people, would think that that's kind of, but no, it's not. That's why. Why? Because I'm using natural stuff, or I want natural stuff to heal my ailments. Like that's weird. So I wanted to show you guys what I found here. And I was talking about a rosary in the past. And yeah. This is the box that I have the rosary in. It says, for Monika, her father give it to me when we get married. That's how she would sound, because she has an accent, right? And I was like, oh, I should have just read that the whole time, because I didn't even know what this was about. And yes, look at this thing. It's gnarly. It's gnarly. I think it's even silver, because it has, I don't know. I'm not sure, and it doesn't matter anyways. But it has, it has Jesus Christ all over it. Yeah, it's cool, Nothing wrong with Jesus. Nothing wrong with Jesus, okay? I mean, I don't feel like that. Like before, I wasn't sure about Jesus, but I'm cool with Jesus now. I understand. I think my own little take on him is I think I know what he was trying to do. But look at this. This is not just a simple rosary. This is like, you know what it is? It's for marriage. And now I know why my mom baptized me Catholic and Protestant. Look at how it looks. Look at that. Because you wear it. You wear it. That's how is it. It's you wear it. I don't know exactly how, but. And on the cross, it has Jesus there. Look at that. Okay. So, this is a very beautiful thing. I appreciate this. I will try. And it was with me the whole time. And what's on these other little things? Yeah, little Jesus. Everything here, it has Jesus. What's it say? Recuerdo matrimonial. Yeah, this is required for matrimony. Right? Very beautiful, this thing. Now I know why my mom, because no one could even tell me nothing. Even I went to, well, let me just, no one could tell me nothing of why possibility of my mother baptizing me Protestant and Catholic. You know why? Because my mother was Protestant and my father was Catholic. That is why she baptized me those two religions. Now get this. This is what triggered me to think about something and that witchy girl. Oh, I shouldn't be calling her witchy because that's what she's like trying to be away from. But I'm going to be talking about that stuff. So, when I got up and I saw this thing, I was like, oh, yeah, And then I was thinking, for some reason in my head was, why? It still was lingering. Why was I baptized Protestant Catholic? Because my mother was Protestant. And you know what? A lot of the things I do and how I look at things is Protestant. Yeah. Yes. So everything I think about in terms of, Christianity It's Protestant, because something must have stuck. Because you know why? I went to a Hungarian Protestant Reformed church when I was younger, but I didn't speak the language. But somehow, some stuff stuck. I don't remember. I was young. I don't remember. I never had a bad experience there. It was always fun and joyful and everything there, and everybody was happy. I did find out the differences between the two, because you can look that stuff up, okay? And there are differences. The Catholic religion has all kind of extra, you know, you must confess and to the priest, and you must do this, and you must do this and that, but not for Protestant. For Protestant, you just have to ask God for forgiveness. You don't have to buy anything to make sure that you, and you know, the Catholic people, they pray to objects, with objects, you know, not Protestant. You can just pray and that's it, and that's all. You don't need fancy stuff. You don't need to buy things. You don't need to give. You just have to follow the Bible. Hello. Hello. And you know what? And then that got me thinking for a second. Because I was watching some videos of history. History. If you're going to study the Bible, you got to study history. You do. It's just you just have to. I don't know how to say it. Because when I first looked something up, I typed in Google, like, what is, you know, what is the I don't know how I worded it, but I wanted to know, what is it with Catholic and Protestant? And then you know what came up? The 30 Years' War. Boom. Right there. I was like, oh, I didn't know this. And I'm like, what is the 30? It's the 30 Years Holy War. And I was like, what is, because I don't remember this. In school, I don't remember. It might have been taught. I don't know. So I started watching videos on it. Different ones. And they all say the same thing. And we're talking about Martin Luther, who translated the Bible to German, right? And then somewhere in there, when I was doing that, and then I looked up Googled some other stuff, get this. I was asking, because I was like, at first I was like, King James, what years was King James, or no, did King James meet Jesus? That's what I wanted to know. Because, you know, the King James Bible, right? And so I was like, okay. And then I was like, and then they were saying some other things, and then I was like, what year did they start, you know, chastising the witches or being like against witches, you know? I wanted to look that up. It was the same year as King James. Get this. Next. The Catholic people, or the Catholic Church, wanted to banish Protestants. They wanted them dead. So you know what they did? They called them witches. They called them witches. Because they wanted them out of the picture so bad. That's why the war was there. And they were calling these people, oh, witches. Because look, also Protestant, you know, they get it from Bohemia, boho. When you look nowadays, you see these boho style people. They look like, you know, kind of casual, kind of drapey. And those people, when you look at them, people kind of connect them like with witches. Like, oh, you look so... But it's like a peasant. It was a peasant thing. Like, boho is peasant style, you know? So that's where that's from. There was no witches, like, you know what I'm saying? So all that stuff saying about witchery and all that stuff, I feel like it was a made up thing because the church, the Catholic Church, did not want Protestants. They did not agree. Because when Martin Luther wrote the Bible and in his translation, and he spoke in front of the people and the Catholic whatever, he was like, you can just use the Bible. You can pray to God. You don't need to go to the Catholic priest and ask for forgiveness. You don't need to go and pay for something to be forgiven. You don't need to... Okay, so let me start reading some stuff I wrote down. For the Protestant... before I start, because I want to make a correction, but I want to make this known. Okay? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, gosh, it disappeared. So, I'm Googling, what are different types of Protestant Reformation? So, it's there. Let me press on that. Watch. This is how people, they just don't know. If you don't study, you're not going to know. That's all I have to say. Anglican, Lutheran, Pentecostal, Quaker. These are all Protestant sects, right? Anabaptist, Baptist, Calvinist, Reformed churches, Congregational Church, Evangelicalism, Methodism, and Plymouth Brethren. Those are all derived from Protestant. Now, this is what I don't understand. Oh, you can press it down. So it's a Protestant denomination. So how are you going to tell me that, this astrologers and all this is bad, whatever, when you don't even know about your own history? I'm talking about the Baptist little pastor guy that was trying to, because I did ask him, I said, you know what, my mother baptized me Protestant and Catholic. Would you know why? Because I didn't know why. I thought he couldn't answer. He didn't even know. He did not even know. And you know what? You can find out in about an hour and a half. You can find out. But he didn't want to stray away from his book. He doesn't want to learn about history. He wants to be focused on that book. And you know what? Let's start talking here. We have people out here that don't even know the history of religion. They're just reading what they want to read in that book. They're not... I think I am Protestant. Now I understand. I think I am Protestant, but not any of those, because I have a little different idea of things. But I think mainly I'm Protestant, and that's it. Not those other sects. Protestant, okay? My mother was Protestant. My dad was Catholic. That's why she baptized me, those two, right? So look, these are the difference between Catholic and Protestant when you kind of match things up. So Protestant, yeah, you can get married. That little guy, that young guy, he was married. That's allowed, okay? For the Catholic Church, no marriage. No, not for the priests. That's probably why we have so many, priests abusing children. Doing wrong, like very bad things. Because they're not allowed to get married. Now, for the Protestant people, it's like they are giving an example that, okay, we can get married, you can get married, everything is good, we all marry. So they're trying to lead by example that everything is cool. It's cool. It's okay to get married. But for the Catholic priests, no, you can't. And this is why we have all this abuse coming from the Catholic priests that we all hear about. Yeah, the molestation of children and just the terrible things. Okay? And that's probably not a good idea, but they do like that. They do like that. And for the Protestant people, follow the Bible. That's the main thing. Follow the Bible. That's most important. You read the Bible, you interpret it, you follow it. That's good. For the Catholic people, follow the pastor. Follow the words of the pastor. The pastor knows best. They know how to save your soul. Right? All right. And when it comes to that, in the past, what did they have to? They had to pay. They had to do this. They had to do that in order to be saved. You know, for the Protestants, no, you just follow the book and you pray to God. It's okay. That sounds simple. You have to ask the pastor to be forgiven. You have to confess to the pastor to be, you know, you have to pay retribution to whatever to be forgiven for Catholic. Not Protestant. You pray to God for forgiveness. And we all know this. Only one can judge me. And that's God Almighty. No one else. Only one. But in the Catholic Church, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta... Yeah, no. They make it complicated for you to reach God somehow. What's next? So for the Protestant, yes, Jesus was a teacher. You do as Jesus does. You know, be Jesus to the people, like that guy said. You know, just be good and be kind. Don't fight. No, don't make problems, you know. And that's what the Protestants do. They don't want to make problems with anybody. They don't. You know, they do believe, you know, being baptized like as an older person. Okay, you know, that's because, you know, you have to find your, you know, you find God, you find whatever you need to find, and then that's it, right? Now, for the Protestant, the Catholics accused Protestants of being witches. And in the Bible, you know, you kill all the... That was probably put there by the King James. Because during that time is when all this witchy stuff was going on, and they were burning witches and killing and doing, and not just that, but anybody who had like an ailment, like epilepsy or whatever, because they didn't know what it was. They're like, that's a witch. So all this witchy stuff that no, it's fake. It's freaking fake. And it's a made up thing. All right. That word is already like, it's deemed a bad word. But people are accepting that word. I'm not. I don't call myself a witch or anybody else I like who might be into that stuff. I don't call them witches. No, I don't even mention that. Because some people are out here who enjoy the natural things, the natural herbs, natural this, natural that, you know? Yeah, okay. So the Protestants were deemed as witches. When it comes to the Christians, or Catholics, I'm sorry, they are non-witches. Because the priest told you that. And that's it. When it comes to Jesus, yes, Jesus is a teacher. When it comes to the Catholic, everything Jesus and the priest. You must follow the priest. It's like, you know. Like, for example, you must, for Catholic, you must give tithe or go to court. If you don't pay and you don't contribute, you will go to court and you will be deemed something, maybe a witch or something, and you will be killed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, with fear. With the Protestants, all you got to do is read the Bible. That's it. You don't have to pay nothing. You don't have to give nothing. You don't have to contribute. Just read the Bible and you're good. That's all you need. You don't need to pay nothing. You don't need to give nothing. Because in those times, the court was all about looking fancy, having the biggest cathedral, you know, dressing nicely, doing these things. But the Protestants were just like, like boho style, just modest, just read the Bible, everything gonna be okay. You don't need to give nothing. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to, no. Like, be like, for real, be like Jesus, Just pray to the Bible. Pray to what Jesus was trying to teach. I'm gonna let it go on because I already see 20. So, yeah. So it was basically the Catholics that were kind of being like, either you do it my way or you have no freedom. And that's why so many Protestants were killed. They were called witches because they were not given the freedom they deserve, because they couldn't afford it. It's like they couldn't afford it, so they were being chastised or hurt or killed or whatever and called witches just because they couldn't afford to give anything. That's not cool. That is not cool. All right? In the words of Martin Luther, right? Fighting injustice with injustice is not God's will. So everybody out here fighting against each set, that's not God's will. So you need to learn your history. And those of you calling people witches and this and that, that's a sin. That's a sin. That's a made up thing, and that's promoting hatred, jealousy, or disgust, and that's Satan's way. You're not supposed to feel that way. You're not supposed to feel that way. And and during those times when they wrote when Martin Luther wrote the Bible for people, it was in German, and he believed that everybody should be able to get a Bible and have a Bible, whatever. The Catholic Church was like, you must pay. You know what I'm saying? And so peasants were sacrificed because of God's will. God does not want you to fight, does not want you to. But because the Catholic Church at this time was so powerful and had all these armies and stuff, they were defenseless. They were doing God's word. They were probably praying, doing good, not trying to make no problems. But then, they were sacrificed, and that sucks. Yeah. So I'm still studying this stuff, but it's very obvious. And this Baptist person I spoke to, this young man, he has no idea of the history. He has no idea of the history. I'm telling you, if you are a person and you're trying to get closer to God or learn some things, I just realized now, or this morning, because I spent like 4 hours tripping out on stuff, you got to add history into that. And you got to put 2 and 2 together because it's so obvious. It is so obvious. King James put all that, the sorcery, King James put that in there because he didn't want Protestants as part of that. There's no such thing as witchy stuff. Those are Protestants that they wanted to accuse as being witches so they could just kill them off because they don't want them there. That's what that came from. The Bohemian, right? That's where that word came from. And this is what I mean. I think I leaned more on the Protestant side. And the only reason my mom baptized me Catholic is because she married my dad, who ended up being a very evil person. He is still. I'm trying my hardest to forgive him because he did not know any better and he's got traumas, but it's like until today, even, I don't even know if he's alive or dead, but if he is, I can guarantee you he's talking smack about me. And all I can do is try to forgive best I can. It's hard, that part. It's hard. And I know in the past I had said, like I had to give up on my son, but I don't. I pray for my son now. I just started. I pray for my son and I pray that he finds out the truth. And I pray for his health and his abundance in life, and that he finds God. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Read your history. Read the history of, you have to. It sucks. It's a lot of study, but I have time, so why not? You know, like haven't been making hats or creating things. This is important in my life to find out who I am and why I am the way I am. You find out in history. That witchy stuff, that's made up. It's made up by the Catholic Church to scare everybody because they don't want you to believe that you can pray to God. Like I said before, you learn something from a teacher. You put out work from the teacher. You don't say, in the teacher's name I pray, amen, because you got an A on that subject. No, the teacher taught you something. You take those teachings and you apply them to your life. You don't have to name the teacher every time you run into something like that. I feel like that's, you know, I don't know exactly if that's what I mean, but that's the impression I'm getting. And that's why, because I've been praying to God. Why? Because my mother probably told me that. My mother is a lot smarter than I thought. She really is, especially with religion. She just didn't enforce it because I think my mother wanted us to find our own way. I think that's what it is. She wanted us to find our own way, and I figured it out. I had to look into history and read the Bibles and compare and look stuff up. But even these sects that I mentioned, including the Baptists, he couldn't. If I asked him, why would my mother baptize me Catholic and Protestant, at least the answer he could have given me was, I'm not sure, but maybe you want to look up the 30 Years' War. Because that's what it's all about. But he didn't even know that. That's why everything is so confused. Everything is meshed. The churches I see are finally, they're going down, some of them, because of the terrible things that the pastors and priests have been found guilty of and all that stuff. That Joel guy, Olstone, whatever. You know, with all the money that guy makes, there should be no homelessness in that town. Is it in Houston? I think it is. That whole entire town, there should be absolutely zero homelessness. But there is. So the Catholic Church is into looking fancy, dressing fancy, having all kinds of stuff because they take from the people. That whole town shouldn't have any homeless there. And I think it's a big homeless population over there. Drug use, all that stuff. Where's he helping? So that's all I got for you guys. Look, 28 minutes. It's going to upload fine, though. I know it is. And it was kind of churchy, kind of not, because I didn't read you anything from the Bible or anything, but I did compare. I did look up some history stuff. That's what you got to do. If you want to find the truth, you got to refer to history also, not just the Bible and no, you got to realize what history is saying. You got to look what was going on during those times when King James this and this person did that, what was going on over here, and you got to find out everything. And I don't think if somebody has called you a witch or anything like that, don't call yourself that. That's a mean word. That's like a nasty word. If anything, like for me, I would think, like I used to say, I'm not a witch. I'm a naturalist because I like natural things. And there's people riding bikes by. And, and that's what people, are accusing people who like natural and all this stuff as witches. Come on, so stupid. Anyways, I really can't. Yeah, I'm not good at convincing. But if you look up history, you will find some stuff for sure. So I'm Mona. This is Sacred Geometry. No, this is Chit Chat, right? This is Chit Chat. And, well, it's still Sacred Geometry Universe, but it's a Chit Chat. So I'm Mona, and I'll talk to you guys next time.